They poisoned the trust before they poisoned the plate. Those words, scrawled in a shaky hand on the back of a receipt, stopped Victor Harlan mid-bite. A man who had stared down market collapses, boardroom betrayals, and rivals who'd sold their souls for power suddenly felt his stomach tighten. This wasn't about stocks or mergers anymore. This was survival, and the unraveling of a carefully polished lie. Victor hadn't come to the Hearth, Savannah's glittering landmark restaurant, for its $700 ribeye. He came in disguise, worn leather jacket, scuffed boots, no hint of his billionaire identity. He was there to investigate whispers that had reached him through hushed emails. Stories of discrimination baked into the service culture, customers quietly targeted, food deliberately tampered with. He could have sent lawyers. He could have bought the place outright. Instead, he chose to see it with his own eyes. The moment he stepped inside, the whispers turned into living proof. The hostess barely hid her disdain, seating him near the clattering kitchen doors, no candle, no welcome. Waiters floated past as if his table was invisible. Then came the note, slipped under his plate by a tired-eyed server whose shoes were falling apart but whose courage was intact. Her name was Elena Moore. She didn't plead, she didn't whisper. She simply gave him truth in ink. This wasn't dining. It was humiliation disguised as fine service. Elena had endured it for months. Endless double shifts, cruel jokes tossed in the kitchen, rules that changed depending on skin tone. Once, she had dreamed of becoming a teacher, but medical bills at home had stolen that path. Now she poured wine for strangers and bit her tongue through their laughter. But tonight she had decided silence would no longer protect her. Victor, raised by a widowed mother in rural Mississippi, knew exactly what it meant to be underestimated. He had built his empire from nothing, his wealth forged by grit. No one believed he had. That's why when he caught Elena's gaze, he didn't brush her off. He read her note. He waited. And when the plate arrived, he acted. He demanded to see the manager. He asked for security footage, and suddenly the mask slipped. Excuses piled up. The tape was edited, fragments missing. But the truth broke through. A chef on camera deliberately spitting into food, laughing with coworkers about who deserved to eat at the hearth. This wasn't a slip, it was culture. That night, Victor stopped being a customer. He became the reckoning. His team secured the uncut footage and leaked it. Within 24 hours, police had stormed the kitchen. The head chef, sous chef, and manager were led out in handcuffs as stunned diners froze mid-bite. Victor stood before the cameras, not furious but steady. He didn't talk about steak or fine wine. He talked about humanity, about the price of silence, about rot hiding under polish. Elena didn't lose her job. She gained a mission. Victor offered her a new role, not as a server, but as director of equity and culture. Her first decision wasn't about menus or uniforms. It was about truth. She told the staff plainly, silence is complicity, and complicity ends now. Training changed, hiring changed, and slowly so did the heartbeat of the restaurant. Months later, the walls that once displayed smug portraits of Confederate generals now carried paintings of Savannah's unsung black pioneers, chefs, educators, community leaders erased for too long. And in the manager's office, the seat once used to dismiss Elena now belonged to her. It all began with a folded receipt, a trembling hand, a risk, proof that revolutions don't always roar in the streets or splash across headlines. Sometimes, they whisper through ink in a place that pretends to be untouchable. Elena wasn't a politician or an activist. She was simply someone who refused to keep pretending, and because she chose to act, an empire didn't just fall, it transformed. So I'll leave you with this. How many times have you seen wrong, felt the urge to speak, but chose silence instead? And what might change if you risked breaking that silence? If this story moved you, don't just scroll away. Hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories that remind us. One small act of courage can rewrite everything.